meron silang knowledge doon. O, nasa public place ka lang, tumayo ka lang doon sa gilid. Lahat ng dadaan sa harapan mo, sa likuran mo, sa gilid mo, o, in-stop mo or sabi mo, pasuyo lang po saglit, pagtatanong lang, ano po ang opinion niya sa death penalty? O kapag ganun, that's convenience. Kasi may basis ka ng specific topic or issue. Okay? Kaya walang malilito sa incidental at convenience sampling. Clear ba tayo doon? Nagkakaintindihan ba tayo doon? Okay, maraming salamat. Next. A researcher intentionally chose barangay officials who had direct experience in anti-drug campaigns to become respondents in the study. Which sampling techniques is most appropriate? Alpha incidental, Bravo purposive, Charlie cluster, Delta simple random. O obvious. Ano yung keyword nyo doon? Yung barangay officials daw, may direct experience. Tapos yung word na intentionally. Di ba sa purposive, we use the term with purpose. Tama ba? Kasi ibig sabihin, meron silang knowledge, meron silang experience, at observe nila yung problem na yun. So, very good. The answer is purposive sampling. Next, which type of study fits this example? Exploring the lived experiences of police officers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Alpha, cross-sectional, Bravo, longitudinal, Charlie, phenomenological, or Delta, cohort. So, siguro, aware naman kayo sa mga other research designs na to. Tama ba? Bukod yung sa historical, descriptive, case study, and experimental. So, meron kasing other research designs. Ito yung 4. May cross-sectional tayo, may longitudinal, may phenomenological, at meron tayong cohort. Ngayon, yung focus ng question, ano daw yung design na appropriate kung ang study mo ay you will explore the lived experiences ng police officers during COVID. Ibig sabihin, ang gusto mong malaman rito ay yung experience ng PNP nung pandemic ang situation. Dito may specific phenomena. Phenomena means a situation na na-experience at merong direct observation yung kinuha mo na respondents. So kapag ganito ang ating mga research title at ito yung focus ng study, tama kayo. That is phenomenological. Okay? Study of phenomena. Sabi nga natin. And that phenomenon or situation ay merong experience yung respondents natin. For example, yung victim ng cyberbullying. Inalam mo kung ano yung live experiences niya as victim of cyberbullying. Kapag ganun yon, that is phenomenological. Kasi ang tinatanong mo doon, ano yung opinion niya, ano yung experiences niya, ano yung insights niya sa pagiging isang biktima ng cyberbullying. Okay? You give meaning, sabi nga, to their experiences. So pag ganun, that's phenomenological. Pag cohort naman, tatandaan to, or discuss ko muna, yung longitudinal. Pag longitudinal, tatandaan nyo to. Ang purpose ng longitudinal study is to collect information or data from the respondents over a period of time. Ibig sabihin, ang data gathering dito ay hindi lang isang beses. Kung hindi, maraming beses. Kaya nga longitudinal. Kaya tama, from the word long, matagal, mahaba yung process. Kasi repeated ang data gathering na gagawin dito. And what purpose? Bakit repeatedly yung ginagawa na pag-gather ng data? For the purpose na ma-determine whether kung meron bang changes, meron bang trend na bago, meron bang nagkaroon ng sinasabi natin ng progress. So kapag gano'n, yung pinaka-focus ng study mo, gusto mong malaman kung may pagbabago, changes, progress, longitudinal yan. O like for example, yung mga bata, di ba, na CICL, you want to check kung pagdating ng ganitong edad na 17 years old is talaga ba, or 18 years old, ay talagang hindi na lang petty crimes yung nakukumit, pero nakakumit na rin sila ng tinatawag natin na violation of law. Oh, yung mga juvenile delinquent na sinasabi natin, or yung mga children at risk at the age of 15. Tapos tinignan mo hanggang 18 years old sila. Pag naging 18 na ba sila, ano nangyari? Yun bang delinquent behavior, talaga bang nagkaroon ng criminal behavior? Kasi kung dati juvenile delinquency lang yung acts na nakukumit, pagdating ng 18 or 17, nakakommit na ba talaga ng violation of law? Nakakommit na ba talaga ng crime? Oh. Kapag ganon, that's longitudinal. Pero dito, same group ang respondents. Kaya focus ka lang dun sa 15 years old na juvenile delinquent na respondents mo. Same group dito ang respondents. Pag cohort, tatandaan nyo to. Ang cohort research design or study ay subtype po ng longitudinal. I repeat, cohort research design or study is a subtype study under the longitudinal. Bakit ma'am? Yung word na cohort dyan, that means specific groups. Kaya sa cohort study, ang tawag natin sa group of respondents nila ay cohort. Na yung group of respondents na yon, specifically, they have the same commonality traits or characteristics. I repeat, yung cohort na group na tinatawag natin ay meron silang specific commonality traits or shared characteristics. Sa longitudinal kasi, hindi mo ini-specific kung sino ang respondents. Basta 15 years old na juvenile delinquent. Wala ka namang in-specify kung lalaki or babae. Hindi mo rin naman in-specify dun sa longitudinal research mo. Example natin, kung yan ba ay nakatapos ng high school o yan ba ay nag-aaral pa currently ng ganitong grade or elementary. Tama ba? Pero sa cohort kasi, specific siya. So, ang mangyayari doon, like for example, gusto mong i-determine kung, okay, ito bang mga may edad or ipinanganak rather ng 2021 or hindi bata pa lang pala yun, pinanganak nung 2010 or 2010, ano ba yung nangyari sa development nila? Nagkaroon ba yan ng commission ng crime as time goes by? Yan ba ay law-abiding citizen? Yan ba ay merong factor na naka-influence para makakommit siya ng ganitong crime? Oh, dahil meron kang specific group na ang kukuhanin mo ay yung mga ipinanganak ng 2005. O yun. Hindi yung longitudinal. Yan ay cohort kasi specific ang inyong group of respondents. Okay? O kung gusto mo naman, yung respondents mo ay yung mga nakagraduate sa isang university. O, kapag ganon, that's cohort. Okay? Kaya mas specific ang cohort kesa longitudinal. Clear ba tayo doon? Naintindihan nyo ba yon? Okay. Pag cross-sectional naman, kabaligtaran ng longitudinal. Kasi ang cross-sectional study, kinakandak ang data gathering in one specific point in time. I repeat, kung si longitudinal, ang data gathering is conducted over a period of time at ilang beses kagawin, si cross-sectional po, ikakandak ang data gathering in one specific point in time. At sa cross-sectional, different groups ang meron ka. Sa longitudinal, ang sabi ko kanina, same group. Pero yung manner ng data collection, marami at iilang beses. Example ng cross-sectional research study natin. Gusto mong malaman yung stress or level of stress ng criminology students? Ma'am, sabi mo different groups. So, meron pang kasunod yun, hindi pa tayo tapos. Crim students sila, pero you specify them into groups. Unang grupo ng crim students, yung may edad na 20. Second group ng crim students, yung may 21 years old. Third group nila, yung may 22. Oh. Gagawin mo ngayon sa pag-cross-sectional, aalamin mo lang one time. Pag in-interview mo yung mga yon, ngayong araw, yun yung kukolect mo na data sa kanila. Yung 21 years old, yung 20, yung 22. Then, ang gagawin mo, you will compare. Mas stress ba yung 20 years old na crim students kaysa sa 21? Or pinaka-stress ba dun sa kanilang tatlo ay yung 22 kasi itong mga to ay medyo mas mature na compared sa kanila. So, kapag ganun ginawa mo, kinumpara mo yung mismong responses itong mga to, pero after nung ma-compare, tapos yung study mo, wala kang tinignan, di mo binalikan na pag 25 years old sila, 24, nagbago ba yung stress level nila? So kapag walang ganon, that's cross-sectional. Nakuha? Pero kung ginawa mo, may group of characteristics na, group of cohort ka at meron yung commonality traits, tapos di-divide mo pa sila into cohort yun. Nakukuha? So, basta pag wala kang after sa changes, hindi po repeatedly pagko-collect ng data, kumbaga gusto mo lang tignan yung one time na status or condition nila, cross-sectional po yun. Kaya nga ang other term ng cross-sectional, snapshot study. Titignan mo lang kung ano currently ang condition or status ng mga yan. After mo sila ma-interview, after mo sila makolekta ng data, laka ng pake. Kasi hindi ka after kung meron bang changes. Na ito bang 20 years old, pwede naging 21, hindi na stress. Oh. Nako ha? Malinaw ba tayo doon? Naintindihan ba yung apat na research design na to? Take note of that ha. Even sa board po, tinatanong yan. Next, how does a CV differ from a resume? Sa research natin, what we attach in our appendices is a curriculum vitae and not a resume. Alpha, a CV is shorter and focuses on one job only. Bravo, a CV is more detailed and includes complete academic and professional history. Charlie, a resume used only for government jobs. Or Delta, a CV includes no educational. Oh. Mali yung Delta. Mali yung Alpha. Okay? Ang tama, sabi nyo nga, Bravo. Very good. Di ba? Detailed yun. Ang ina-highlights dun yung academical background ng mismo researcher. Yung seminars and trainings attended niya. At wala tayong resume na pinapasa at ina-attach sa mismo research or thesis. Hindi kayo nag-apply ng job. May CV kayo dyan for the purpose na makita kung ano yung academic highlights nyo or background nyo. Kasi through your academic highlights and seminars and trainings attended, dun ma-realize ng reader nung magbabasa ng thesis nyo na qualified kayo conduct yung study kasi meron kayong background. Kaya di ba parang ang purpose lang, ang alam natin may CV kasi para kilala yung researcher. Hindi po. Sa context ng research, ang purpose ng CV is i-highlights yung academic qualification, academic background ng researcher, at seminars and trainings attended niya. Kasi pag nakita rito sa seminars and trainings attended na, eto yung inattendan mo. Walang question na yung problem mo ay may kinalaman sa mga seminar inattendan mo kasi meron kang knowledge doon. Yun po ang pinaka-actual purpose ng CV sa thesis. Hindi lang para ipakita kung gaano kayo kaganda, gaano kayo kagwapo, or kung sino kayo na researcher ng research na. Okay? Take note of that. Hindi naman usapan doon, dapat ego or pogi ka, di ba? Pero i-highlights doon yung academic mo, background. In APA 6th edition, the reference list should be alpha, double space, and arranged alphabetically by the first author's last name. Bravo, single space and arranged by the date. Charlie, indented and arranged by title. Or Delta, single space. Oh, tama. Wala namang single space pa doon. Lahat tayo naka-double space. And syempre, dapat naka-alphabetically arranged yung first author's last name. Nakuha? Next. Which is not considered as a good qualities of a researcher? Resourceful, creative, honest, curious. Natatandaan niyo pa ba yung acronym ng researcher? R is research-oriented, E is efficient, S is scientific, E is effective, A is active, R is resourceful. Diba? C is creative, walang curious. Tama, walang curious. Yung H doon is honest, E is for economical, and R is religious. So tama kayo, out ang Delta. Next. A researcher wants to provide a solution for the increasing riding in tandem cases in their locality. Which of the following types of research is suitable to be conducted? So may sumagot ng Bravo, may sumagot ng Delta. Keyword, provide a solution. So tama. Kung ang purpose ng research mo is to provide a solution sa problem, kasi dumarami na yung riding in tandem cases, dun tayo sa applied research. Nakukuha? Keyword, problem, solution based. Another, a criminology student is conducting a study on the psychological patterns of offenders without the intention of immediately using the findings to solve crimes. What type of research is this? Alpha, fundamental. Bravo, applied. Charlie, developmental. Kasi yung delta wala yun. Anong sagot? Sabi niya dyan, no, a criminology student is conducting a study on the psychological patterns of offenders without the intention of immediately using the findings. Bakit developmental? Wala daw gagamitan nung mismong findings. Dapat yan ay fundamental lang. Kasi gusto lang nilang malaman kung ano yung psychological pattern ng offender. So, tamang sagot dyan is A. Na-highlights man yung lahat, pero alpha po ang sagot dyan, no? Wala naman pala paggagamitin. Without intention in using the findings to solve crime, hindi applied yan, lalo hindi developmental. So, yan ay alpha. Next. A study involving inmates was conducted only after securing approval from the prison administration and following their standard rules and regulation. What ethical principle is followed? Alpha, anonymity. Bravo, legality. Charlie, sampling. Delta, honesty. Okay, very good. Lahat kayo, bravo. Tama, yun naman yun. Ito po ay isa sa mga research or ethical consideration natin as per research ethics. Tama? Meron tayong consider. Unang-una, anonymity. Sabi nga natin, do not disclose any personal data of your respondents. Ako ha? Legality, you must follow the rules, the policy, or the guidelines as established by the institution na kung saan nyo kukuhanin ang inyong mga respondents. Okay? Para yung ginawa natin, natatandaan nyo ba yung mga nag-conduct ng research sa jail? We follow their process and guidelines. Nang sabi doon, mag-i-email ako, attach yung mga pangalan ng mga researchers na ang setting at ang respondents ay BJMP, personnel at PDL. So, finalo natin yon in consideration sa ethical consideration na to. Then, wala yung sampling dyan, and syempre, honesty. In honesty as ethical consideration, dapat, kung ano yung actual data, yun lang ipipresent natin. Walang dagdag, walang bawas, walang tatanggalin, walang papalitan. Okay? So, yun siya. Next, a researcher created survey responses even though the actual questionnaires were distributed to the respondents. What research misconduct is committed? Ano yun? Diba meron tayong mga klase ng research misconduct? May falsification of data, may fabrication of data, merong plagiarism. Ngayon, ang meron dito, wala daw talagang survey na ginawa. Walang questionnaire na dinistribute. In short, wala kasi lang na-collect na data. Hindi yan plagiarism. Tama. So, walang sasagot ng alpha, please. Bravo, Charlie. Okay, very good. That's fabrication. Because in fabrication of data, gumawa ka ng data kahit wala. Making up of data. Diba? Instead nag-survey ka, wala kang pinasagot. Sino sumagot? Ikaw. Ikaw ang sarili mong gumawa ng questionnaire, ikaw ang mismong sumagot sa questionnaire. Wala ka talaga actual data. So, that's fabricated kasi gawa-gawa mo lang. Pag falsification, you manipulate the data. Yun yung keyword, tama ba? Manipulate the data by means of, by inomit ka or tinanggal, by inad ka, meron kang pinalitan, or meron kang dinagdagan. Kaya nga, for example, ang nangyari, nag-distribute ka ng questionnaire, ang sumagot lang 5. 50 yung respondents mo, napasagot mo lang 5, yung 45 walang sagot. Ang ginawa mo, yung sagot ng 45, ginaya mo din sa sagot ng 5. That's falsification of data. Okay? So, magaling kang nilalang, sabi nga natin. Okay? Matilok ka kapag gano'n, kasi bawal yun eh. Pero pinalsify mo, o kaya naman, ang lumabas talaga, not implemented. Pinitik mo yung data. Sabi mo, nakakaya naman sa PNP, nakakaya sa makakabasa, ginawa mong very implemented. Pasok yun sa falsification. Okay? Pero pag plagiarism, ibig sabihin, inappropriate mo as if na ikaw ang mismong may idea nun, wala kang in-acknowledge na author, hindi ka man lang nag-cite sa references mo, na yun ay kinuha mo sa iba, plagiarism yun. Kasi diba, the purpose of our reference list in the bibliography is to acknowledge yung mga authors na ginawa at sinite natin as references. Okay? Next, what is the purpose of using et al. In research writing? Alpha, to make the citation longer. Bravo, to replace the year of publication. Charlie, to shorten citations with many authors. Or Delta, to identify the title of the study. Oh, sagot nyo is Charlie. Very good. In-et-al mo nga, ahaba ba yan? X yung alpha. O in-et-al mo and others, kamong ganon. Mare-replace ba? Mapapalitan ba yung publication year? Hindi naman gagalaw yun. Tama ba? O, nag-et-al ka. So palagay mo yung basis para makapag-identify ka ng study. Mali to shorten yung citation. Lalo na sa chapter 2, sa mga chapter pages natin. As a rule under APA, when the authors in your citation or reference is more than 3 or more, use the Latin abbreviation of et al. Okay? But in the bibliography, bawal ang naka-et al. Next, what is the primary purpose of a research design? Alpha, to gather as much as data as possible. Bravo, to provide a blueprint for the study and ensure validity and reliability. Charlie, to prove the researcher's assumptions correct. Or Deltas, to summarize the related literature. Ang research design nasa chapter 3 sa methodology. Out yung Delta. Kasi kung literature yon sa chapter 2 yon. Yung Alpha, wala naman din pakialam yung sa research design. Kasi yung manner ng data collection ang kailangan yung i-concentrate dyan. So, Bravo or Charlie, tama kayo, the answer is Bravo. Research design is the blueprint. Tama ba? That is the guide of the researcher on how will they conduct ng step-by-step process yung research study nila. At sa research design, dyan mo rin ma-identify kung anong mga sampling techniques ang gagawin. Ay, gagamit ako ng main tool or instrument. Anong klaseng instrument? Survey. Questionnaire. O yun. Kapag ganon, di ba? That's research design. That's part of research design. Kasi may kinalaman siya sa process kung paano mo ikakandak yung research study mo para ma-ensure na valid at reliable yung data na makukuha. Okay? Clear ba tayo doon? Naintindihan ba yun? Pahingi nga ako ng responses kung nakakaintindihan. Okay, salamat. Next. What is the main purpose of a validity test in research? Alpha, to check if the instrument consistently produces the same results. Bravo, to determine whether the research instrument collect truthful and accurate data. Charlie, to assess the statistical significance of the findings. Or Delta, to test the reliability of the data collection procedure. So most of you answered Bravo. The correct answer is Bravo. Valid yan kapag naka-align yung statement at kapag yung data na collect mo ay truthful and accurate. Yung truthful, di ba yung nasa notes, veracity? Yan. Kasi ibig sabihin, yung objective ng study mo naka-align sa statement ng instrument mo. So, ang endpoint nun, makakakolect ka ng tamang data. Pero kung dun pa lang sa instrument mo, title pa lang sa statement dun sa part 2 mo, hindi na magtugma, may ibig sabihin invalid yan. Okay? Yung alpha kasi, that is reliability. Okay? Yun siya. Yung Charlie sa Delta, wala po yan. Panggulo lang yan. Next question. The researcher asked expert to examine their questionnaire to determine whether the questions were appropriate and related to the objectives of the study before distributing it to the respondents. What characteristics of a research instrument is being observed? Alpha, reliability. Bravo, validity. Charlie, usability. So, ang sagot nyo ay hati. May alpha, may bravo, may usability. Yung alpha to Charlie, yan yung mga qualities of a good research instrument. Natatandaan nyo? Pero rito, ayan ang sagot. Validity. Bakit? Unang-una, Appropriate daw yung question sa questionnaire. Naka-align. Valid yan. Pangalawa, yung objective ng study, yun yung nasa statement ng questionnaire nila. So, pag align yung objective, align yung statement sa research study, makaka-collect ka ng accurate data. So, that's validity. Pag reliability, tatandaan nyo, yung results is the same, consistent. Ang instrument mo, reliable siya, na kahit ilang beses mo siyang in-administer is still, it will produce the same consistent result. Kasi pag nagkaroon ng changes, that's not reliable or hindi reliable ang instrument mo. Kaya sa reliability, may two tests tayo. The pre-test and the retest method. Tama ba? So, dun sa retest method, retest method rather, same group yung respondents. Yung respondents dun sa test retest, siya rin yung actual respondents. Yung unang pag-float po sa kanila ng survey ng instrument mo, that's the dry run. Pangalawang pag-float mo sa kanila na same respondent sila, that's the actual survey. So kapag ganon, test retest method yon. Kapag dun sa dalawang pag-administer mo ng instrument nila, may pagkakaiba yung mismong results, ibig sabihin hindi reliable ang instrument mo. Kasi paano mangyayari na magkakaroon sila ng pagkaibang results kung iisang respondents at same instrument ang in-administer? Pag sa pre-test, from the word pre, before the actual test, meron kang dry run. At sa dry run, yung unang pag-administer mo ng instrument, meron kang sample respondent. Tapos dun sa actual gathering data, meron kang actual specific respondents. For example, ang pinaka-actual respondents mo ay yung PNP sa Palayan na nag-handle ng, ano ba, drug-related cases. Yun yung actual respondents. Sa pre-test, pag ginawa mo yung method na yun to test the reliability, kukuha ka ng sample respondents. Pwedeng dito sa kabanatuan. At yung sample respondents mo doon ay yung mga PNP personnel din na nasa Cabanatuan City Station na nag-handle ng drug-related cases. Yung dry run mo sa Cabanatuan, yung actual survey mo sa respondents sa Palayan. So, dapat para masabi na reliable yung instrument mo, magpuproduce yan dapat ng same result. Hindi po pwede magkakaroon ng pagkakaiba. Bakit? Unang-una, pareha sila ng PNP personnel. Pangalawa, pareha sila nag-handle ng drug-related cases. Pangatlo, merong specific process kung paano nila i-handle ang drug-related cases. So magkaiba man sila ng mismong city station, pero pareha sila ng pine-perform na trabaho, so dapat same ang result sa lalabas. Pag hindi same, hindi reliable. Okay? Clear ba tayo dun sa reliability? Test, retest, and pretest? Okay. Pag usability, from the word usability, your instrument is easy to use. Di ba? Pwede siyang gamitin ng iba't ibang individual. Teacher man yan, future researchers man yan, sa academe man yan. Di ba? And practical siyang gamitin. Kaya nga yung ibang instrument, yung ibang researcher, ina-adapt nila yung instrument ng naunang researcher. Kasi nakikita nila na usable or madaling magamit at i-adapt yung mismong questionnaire ng mga researcher na yun. So, yun yung usability. Okay? Next. Which research objective best demonstrate the time-bound characteristics of SMART? Alpha, to identify the causes of absenteeism among students. Bravo, to determine the level of stress of college students. Charlie, to analyze the study habits of criminology students during the second semester of school year 2025-2026. Or Delta, to describe the effects of online gambling. Anong sabi dyan? Ano daw yung research objective that best demonstrate time-bound? Oh, obvious naman, di ba? Pag time-bound, the period in order for the researcher to complete the study. So that is Charlie. Okay? Yan siya. Very good. Next. Which of the following provide guidelines for the responsible conduct of research? Research ethics, research consideration, ethical consideration in research. Okay, nalilito sila. Sagot nyo ay Charlie. Sagot ng iba ay Bravo. Sagot ng iba ay Alpha. Very good. The answer is Alpha or the research ethics, no? Sa research ethics, nakapaloob doon ang mga ethical principle and ethical consideration. Pero when we say or when we talk about the guidelines, the rules, the policy on how the researchers will properly conduct the research study, that is the research ethics. Malinaw? Clear ba tayo doon? Nakuha ba? Very good. Next. Pedro and Jose, keep in mind that they conduct research not for their personal aggrandizement or aggrandizement, but to solve the needs and problems of the people. Which of the following criteria of a good research problem is being described by the statement? Okay. Cost-effective ba yan? Interesting ba yan? Relevant to the needs of the problem of the people? Or relevant to the government trust? Very good. That is Charlie. Itong apat na to, these are the criteria of a good research problem. So when we say cost-effective, dapat one of your research problem, yung topic na yan is hindi po niyan, kumbaga, paano ko ba sasabihin? Dapat economical. Dahil sabi nga natin, pag limited ang resources mo, ang money mo, ang materials mo, tas medyo general yung problem mo, mahirapan kang i-conduct. So, dapat cost-effective. Okay? Kasi magastos ang pagre-research. Pangalawa, yung Bravo, interesting. Interesting kasi there is an identified problem na unknown pa na gusto mong kandakan ng study. Okay? Yun siya. Pag yung Charlie, eto yun. As a researcher, your purpose on why you conduct research is to address and to solve the problem of others. Kaya nga, isang part ng chapter 1 nyo ay significance of the study. Not for you as a researcher kung ba't yung ginagawa yan. Kasi, eto yung benefits na makukuha nila. Nakuha ba? And same goes, etong delta, this is also a criteria na kung saan sa significance of the study, involve yung government offices, involve yung mga other agencies natin sa government. Tama ba? Like the PNP, the DSWD, the BGMP, the BFP. O kasi nga, it should be relevant to the government trust. At yung problem dapat natin ay may kinalaman dun sa pinaka-problem rin as experienced by our government system. Kapag ganun yung topic mo, that's a good problem. Researchable yan. Measurable yan. Okay? Next. A criminology researcher proposed a null hypothesis and tested whether there is a significant relationship between study habits and academic performance of crime students. The statistical test showed a significant relationship between the two variables. Based on the result, what should be done to the null hypothesis? Alpha accepted, Bravo rejected, Charlie optional, Delta undecided. Pwede waring naman yon. Pwede waring naman optional, di ba? Hindi. Hindi rin pwedeng undecided yan. Ano ba yan? So, Alpha Bravo lang. Sabi dyan, nag-propose siya ng null. Pagdating dun sa mismong statistical results, lumabas may significant relationship. Anong gagawin sa null hypothesis niya? Natural, sabi nyo nga, that's rejected. Okay? So, rejected dapat yan. Pero kung lumabas rin, walang significant or wala talagang significant relationship, dun natin pwedeng sabihin na accepted. Okay? So, it's already 9 p.m. So, yun lang po kasi ang schedule na ibinigay rin natin dahil alam ko na kayo rin mismo by tomorrow, kung meron kayong session, may session pa ba kayo bukas? O wala? Meron ba? O yun, isa pa kasi yun. Kaya as much as I want na gusto pang mag-Q&A, okay? Hindi siya uubra kasi in rin sa mismong time nyo at papasok kayo bukas. So that's the end of our discussion. Huwag kayong malungkot na. So, pag sa di bale, pag sa ano tawag doon? Sa crash course, i-discuss yan ng speaker nyo. Nakakuha ba? Kaya review kayong mabuti. Naku, So, thank you for staying with me until 9 p.m. magmula 7. 2 oras din yon, no? Alam kong napaka-ano rin nung discussion natin. Alam ko nabitin kayo pero sa crash course babawi na may speaker nyo doon. Maraming salamat. Tatandaan nyo, gagalingan ninyo, ha? So maniwala kayo na kaya nyong pumasa. Kaya first time